يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. Amma ba'd. At the end of the one ayah in the Quran in Surah Al-Baqarah, when Allah mentions the month of Ramadan by name specifically, when we come across something unique in the Quran, Allah does it on purpose, intentionally, to get our attention. Allah is grabbing our attention to focus on something specific. So out of more than 6,000 verses in the Quran, only one mentions the month of Ramadan by name. At the end of that ayah, Allah mentions some of the main purposes when it comes to the month of Ramadan. What kind of fruit should come from Ramadan? How do I know if I truly had a good Ramadan or not, a successful Ramadan or not? The Prophet warned us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to avoid being like the person, the only thing they get out of their fasting is hunger and thirst. And the only thing they get out of their qiyam, their praying at night, is fatigue and exhaustion. What's the Prophet warning us about? He's warning us about the dangers of bad character. The dangers of what can happen if you're not careful with your tongue, for example. Someone may be fasting all day and praying all night, but then they're very harsh with their words, with their tongue, at home, with their spouse, with their children, with their parents, with people in the masjid, with people at work, and then their excuses, oh, I'm fasting. That's just how I am when I'm fasting. No, the problem isn't the fasting, the problem is something else. The problem is the tongue of that person not being kept in its cage. How many barriers come between a person and harming other people with their tongue, with their words? How many teeth do you have that are supposed to be like prison bars, keeping it in check? And then on top of that, you have two lips. Our ears are always open. And we have two of them. Allah gave us one tongue and all these barriers, but then sometimes we go and we use it with no concern, with no shame. At the end of this ayah, Allah mentions three key ideas. This is the litmus test for you and I to check, how is my Ramadan going? Which we need to prepare for from now. Allah mentions number one, وَلِتُكْمِلُوا الْعِدَّةِ, to complete the number of days. وَلِتُكَبِّرُوا اللَّهَ عَلَى مَا هَدَاكُمْ, and so you may basically glorify, praise Allah for what He has guided you to. وَلَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ, the capstone to the entire ayah, so you may be grateful. So I may be grateful. Let me prepare my heart in connection with this concept of gratitude from now in the month of Rajab, even before Sha'ban and before Ramadan. How am I doing regarding the gratitude in my heart? Regarding, I mentioned in the bayan, the y-axis, what's between you and Allah, and then the x-axis, between you and people, between you and all of creation. If someone does something for you, no matter how small it may be, no matter how small it may be, and no matter who it is, if you simply ask your child or your grandchild to please get you a cup of water because you're thirsty, and they lovingly go and they get it and they bring it to you, say thank you. It's prophetic for you to say thank you. And it's anti-prophetic for you to not say thank you. The Prophet himself taught us, ﷺ, that whoever doesn't thank people, then they're unthankful to Allah. They're ungrateful to Allah. Say thank you. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. All it's going to cost you, if it's really an issue, is for you to check your ego a little bit and to park your ego somewhere where it should be anyways. If you don't want to say thank you because you feel so entitled, there has to be some serious digging within the soul of that person. They need to completely recalibrate their understanding of La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Completely. Gratitude is at the core of our existence and at the core of our deen. Look at the example of what ingratitude can do. Iblis, shaitan, the devil himself. In his promise to Allah, he's going to try to misguide people. from all different directions. Front, back, left, right. But what did he say after that? What's his end goal? To make people become ungrateful. He himself mentioned that's his ultimate goal. So let's do the opposite of that. Let's make sure to be people who are grateful. We ask Allah to fill our hearts with gratitude towards Him and towards His creation, and we ask Allah to make it easy for us to express gratitude as the Prophet taught us sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما صلى الله على محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. Let's make the intention, all of us here and now, simply between today and next Jum'ah, inshaAllah. God knows how long we have left to live. So we need to understand that these ideas need to be put into practice ASAP, for all of us in our own ways. Let's make the intention between today and next Jum'ah, inshaAllah, that we're going to exercise this muscle of gratitude consciously, with thoughtfulness, with a deep sense of taqwa. Understanding that when we think, it could be a waiter at a restaurant, it could be someone who's going to do maybe something for you anyways, maybe a gardener. They're going to garden anyways, you're going to pay them anyways. But add the prophetic cherry on top and say thank you. Thank people. وَلَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ. We can't wait till Ramadan and then let's work on this gratitude muscle. No, let's work on it from now. We ask Allah to make us from among the few. Allah describes grateful people as very few. وَقَلِيلٌ مِّنْ عِبَادِيَ الشَّكُورِ. May Allah make us from among that VIP category with Him. May Allah make us from among the few. May Allah make us from among the grateful. We ask Allah to guide us and forgive us. We ask Allah to protect our youth and coming generations. And we ask Allah to bless and honor our elders in this life and the next. Ameen Rabbil Alameen. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا. ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا. ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا. ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين وأقم الصلاة.